over to Wabunsee County, Douglas, Jefferson. These counties were going until 3 a.m. for a severe storm watch, and now it goes until 6, I believe. Either 6 or 7, either way. The severe storm watch continues for Topeka, Lawrence, Oskaloosa. Just because we're in a severe storm watch doesn't mean we can't see a tornado. Areas farther south, including Osage City, Council Grove, Emporia, are still in the tornado watch. Although, from what I see there, it is likely that Council Grove and Morris County will be dropped sooner than later. Maybe. So the storms here around Wichita, that now is showing hail up to the size of quarters, and seeing heavy rain extending up into areas like Eskridge is seeing heavy rain, Dover seeing heavy rain, Rossville, Silver Lake. So what I'm expecting right now is this storm moving into Topeka in the next few minutes, and Mayetta, Holton, Valley Falls. There's a lot of lightning in areas that have not seen lightning earlier in the evening. So this is going to be very loud. It's going to wake a lot of people up. So we are going to live stream for at least the next hour on this. We will probably have more warnings issued along this line, but even if we were not to have anything issued, I want to make sure that anybody that wakes up and wants to know what's up can get an explanation from us. So around Topeka, up to Mayetta and Holton, a lot of lightning, hard to sleep through that. Valley Falls getting a lot of lightning right now. Are we on TV? I mean, not the stream.
No, we're not on TV right now. Not the live. The live stream should be fine.
I mean, our signal's not down?
Yes, it is.
Our signal's down?
That's what I'm coming here to tell you. Yep. We're all over the air is down, and Dish and DirecTV are both down.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah. We lost communication with the tower. Shane's working on it. He's going to call me back.
Okay. Okay. So if you're watching me here on the live stream, that's the only way you're watching me. I think we'll still be on cable.
Yeah, it's still showing it on Cox in the newsroom.
Okay. We're just not on Dish and not on antenna. And the tower camera that's on the transmission tower is down. So almost surely lightning hit the transmission tower, and hopefully it didn't damage a bunch of stuff. Hopefully just shut it down for a minute. I really hope our camera's not fried or anything else is not fried. Okay, so a more immediate concern, it is about to get loud. We have a lot of lightning around Harveyville, extending up to Auburn. So this is not considered to be a severe storm at this time, but certainly we could get there. We could certainly get to the level of having a severe storm pretty quickly here with anything along this line. Again, the storm that's in Wichita right now is up to severe. All right. I'll show you this camera in Manhattan real quick, and then we'll go back to what we're doing. Just the clouds in Manhattan behind the storms. Really wild. That's the view there in Manhattan, looking south across K-State from the Capitol Federal Skycam there at Stormont Vale, Manhattan campus. All right, so temperatures are cooling off the north and west behind the cold front. And we've got winds gusting 50 miles per hour, almost 50 miles per hour in Emporia right now. And again, we do not have any severe storm warnings in northeast Kansas at this moment, but certainly that could change at any moment, as we did have a warning issued just a few minutes ago that includes folks down here toward Wichita. So along this line, we are still seeing this super strong jet stream energy beginning to move in here. And it's, it's not down low here, but at the jet stream level, the winds are 150 miles per hour, so very strong. But here at the surface, we've got this extremely heavy rain starting to move into the Dover area, almost to Auburn. Silver Lake seeing the heavy rain. And as a matter of fact, I can hear it on the roof here at the TV station now. So we'll check out the camera link here, and I'll just bring it up here in the radar map. That's how it looks now on the west side of town from Menninger Hill, or sky cam over here, kind of at the just the north end of Wanamaker. Now I've zoomed it all the way in somehow because the technology has been just all kinds of on my side today. Well, there's a look down toward Wanamaker right now. And again, the rain's beginning here. In a few moments, you probably won't be able to see Wanamaker. It'll be so heavy there. And here's a view from 70th and Davis Road, the northwest part of Shawnee County, where you can only see in between lightning strikes. The rain is absolutely pouring there. And here at the TV station, it's just absolutely pouring outside. So that's what's going to happen all across town. And it does not sound like severe storm winds. And while there might be some pea-sized hail or something out there, I don't hear massive hail outside. It just looks like extremely heavy rain. It sounds like that right now. Right down to the south, the storms in Lyon County behaving pretty well so far. Again, across Shawnee County, we're seeing a lot of lightning in many areas up toward Silver Lake, toward where Highway 75 and 24 meet. And we'll check out that camera again now. I just showed you from Menninger Hill, and now you really can't see down to Wanamaker at this point from the heavy rain that's moved in here on the west side of the city. And I can check out the view from downtown. That's how it looks from the Cyrus Hotel, downtown Topeka. Plenty of lightning. The rain's not quite heavy yet, but just a few minutes away from becoming very heavy there as well. That camera's down. How about this one? There we go. Live look from Noto. That camera's alive. Love it. All right, it's down to the south. This is how it's going to look in Emporia now, where you are close to a storm, but it's not too intense at this point. And downtown Emporia, that's a live look from the Lyon County History Center, where so far it's calm. So back in Topeka again, our camera is seeing the wind picking up, but it's the camera itself is up on a transmission tower, and so the wind's a little stronger up there. It's more than 100 feet up above the ground, and you will see stronger wind with that. And now, what is that? 3 a.m. Tornado watch issued for Chase Green. What? Okay. That was at 3 o'clock. So they're continuing the tornado watch, is what it is. All right, so severe storm watch continues for Topeka, for Jefferson County, Douglas County, Jackson County, Shawnee County, Wabunsee County, until at least 6. That's the expiration time that we have. The yellow from Osage City, Council Grove to the south, that's tornado watch going until 7 a.m. We'll see if it goes that long. It may not, but we did see the National Weather Service add a tornado watch to the east that goes over through the Kansas City metro and into Missouri. We also saw this severe storm warning issued down here for the Wichita area, and that storm is racing northeast. And it's going right along the Kansas Turnpike and going at about turnpike speed from what I can see there. Let's see if what the motion is on that thing. It is moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. That's an extremely fast-moving storm. You can see more storms filling in down to the south, down to Oklahoma, and that's the cold front itself, I believe. It's now starting to move in here. So again, around Topeka, we're seeing downpours of rain, and I'm sure it's waking a lot of people up. To the north, up around Holton, Valley Falls, Muskota. You are hearing very heavy rain. No warnings in this at this point. But again, the National Weather Service did extend the tornado watch farther to the east over into Missouri, and that part of the watch was added just in the last couple of hours. Check out the view from downtown again from the Cyrus Hotel. And the heavy rain is getting closer. It's not quite where you can't see more than about a block yet, but most likely to get to where you probably won't be able to see more than about a block, maybe two, once the heaviest of the rain gets in there. Council Grove pretty calm at this point, and Manhattan, the heaviest rain has moved past at this time. It took a long time to get to Manhattan, and now it's, at least the heaviest of it's done. And after all this trying to time out computer models and see what time the storm would actually finally get into Topeka, it finally got here just about 3 o'clock in the morning. But again, we're not seeing any severe storm warnings in northeast Kansas with this. This thing that's near Wichita is showing some kind of ominous signs. You may be able to hear the rain on my microphone here in the studio. So you can clearly see storms to the south around Wichita extending down into Oklahoma, and how aggressively and quickly these are just ramping up right now. So that storm is heading toward Emporia and Lyon County, and Lyon County as well as over to Coffee County, Osage are still in the tornado watch going until 7 a.m. And this is part of that that energy that we're expecting to roll in here so late at night, and that's why I'm still chilling here in the Weather Center after 3 a.m. So as of right now, northeast Kansas doesn't have any severe storm warnings or tornado warnings. That certainly could change here as we're watching that stuff develop around Wichita and really racing this direction. Again, 65 miles per hour was the speed on that storm coming out of Wichita at this point. I would imagine at this point that if you hear static on my microphone, it's almost surely from the rain outside. It's just that heavy that you can hear it. I can hear it on my IFP from the rain that's falling outside right now. It's pretty wild. I forgot to put soap in my car before the storm arrived. All right, so here's what we've got. Here's a camera. We'll look from Menninger Hill on the west side of town. At least you can see down to Wanamaker at this point. And then downtown Topeka, the heaviest rain has arrived there at the Cyrus Hotel. And the big concern I had tonight was that, I was worried that folks would wake up at, 3, 4 in the morning, and hear, wind and the storm outside after we talked about big tornadoes are possible, and, wake up. I want to make sure that you got an explanation from us of what's going on at that moment. So we're here for you. Right now, there are no warnings in northeast Kansas. Just very heavy rain at this moment in Topeka. Now, when I say there's no warnings, that doesn't mean there won't be any warnings. The activity that's down near Wichita developed very, very rapidly and is racing northeast. That's these storms right here. And the forward motion on these is 65 miles per hour. And that will put that in Emporia in not much time at all. So Emporia is almost sure to have a severe storm in the next hour here. And I'm not sure if the cold front will have passed through Topeka with this heavy rain, if that would impact this activity coming from the southwest or not. I just don't know yet. The storms we saw earlier were able to kind of wave back and forth. So just because it's storming in Topeka now doesn't mean it's the only round that's moving through. But this stuff down to the south is developing aggressively, very, very quickly. All right, so in Topeka, again, it's raining heavily all across the city. Valley Falls, very heavy rain falling right now. A lot of lightning there near Meriden, up to Muskota. Hoyt, seeing a lot of rain and lightning as well. Lawrence is not in the storm yet. Carbondale, Burlingame just getting the lightning moving in. Right along the Kansas Turnpike. Again, calm in Emporia for the moment, but the storms that are near Wichita are almost sure to make it to Emporia. I have a hard time imagining what would keep that storm from making it to Emporia and being severe by the time it gets there. I don't understand the estimate of winds less than 50 miles per hour with a storm that's moving 65 miles per hour. I still have a hard time understanding that, but it has quarter-size hail is what they're estimating with the storm, and the fact that it's moving 65 miles per hour just in itself is enough to be a concern. So again, that thing is just racing northeast, parallel to the Kansas Turnpike and heading toward Cottonwood Falls, Emporia, and Opie. Looks like we have about 1,000 people west of Topeka that are out of power, according to Evergy at this point. Thank you, Isaac. So that's almost surely going to be, well, I was going to say it's a wind thing. I know our transmission tower has problems. So, Isaac's telling me that west of Topeka there's 1,000 people without power. West Topeka is also where our transmitter is located. I'm not saying the two things are related, but they certainly could be. See any reports in that area of, no reports of any sort of wind speeds or gusts or anything like that. Okay. So the storm moving through Topeka right now is just a downpour. I don't see any indications from anybody here that the winds have been anything approaching severe. I don't see any hail in it. It's a downpour. This stuff down to the south that's getting just northeast of Wichita now, this is the stuff that has more potential to be more dangerous, and that's moving up toward Cassaday, then Cottonwood Falls, Bazaar, and will ultimately start moving toward Emporia in the next hour. So we have the camera there, of course, from the folks at ValueNet Fiber, and I have it pointing to the southwest. So that storm is not close enough yet to really start seeing the extreme lightning from it, but it'll be in Emporia in about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And that storm, is severe at this point and probably will stay that way for quite a while. I'm not sure if that'll make it all the way to Topeka or not. The trajectory it's on would take it to Topeka. But also put Council Grove in possibility as well. So downtown right now, the winds are pretty strong. Not sure I'd say that's severe or not, but it's getting close. Yeah, maybe 40 or 50 miles per hour. There you go. You can see the wind kind of whipping down the streets in downtown Topeka. So that's the live shot at 10th and Kansas is where you're looking right there. That's from the top of the Cyrus Hotel. It doesn't look as extreme if you kind of stay up high like that, but if you zoom down a little more closely, it looks a little worse. But even in the street lights here, the rain's kind of coming down sideways. All right. But I don't think it's quite 60 miles per hour. It's probably more like 40 or 50. All right, so we'll be watching the folks from Emporia there with this camera. It's all the way up to 70 degrees now. The temperature's been warming through the night. Council Grove still pretty calm. And Manhattan, the storm has passed, and still plenty of warmth to the east. All right, so now back on the radar, you can see the storms. There's the heavy rain in Topeka, scattered storms across Lyon County into Chase County, and the severe storms right now are located down in Butler, Harvey, Sedgwick, with quarter-size hail, and the winds are still not all that strong. But we'll see. The storm itself is moving 65 miles per hour, so typically if the storm is moving that fast, it usually comes with pretty strong winds, so we will see what it actually does the farther north it gets. But Lyon County, Emporia, that storm near Wichita is almost surely coming your way. Here's a look downtown again from the Cyrus Hotel. And you see the the sheets of rain kind of rolling down the street there. It's not as strong as it was a couple of moments ago, but just a heavy thunderstorm waking a lot of people up, I'm sure. So back over here to the radar, we have this batch of very heavy precipitation falling near Oskaloosa, Valley Falls, Nortonville, Atchison, Lancaster. The heaviest of it now is really getting the Oakland area up to Billard Airport in Topeka. Wakarusa seeing heavy rain, as well as Carbondale. And then the next exciting thing is going to be this activity that's rolling up the Kansas Turnpike from the southwest with a forward speed that's close to what the folks on the highway would be driving. And that severe thunderstorm warning goes until 3:30 for one of them. The other one here goes till 3:45. But this storm right here is just about to outrun the warning box it's in. So pretty shortly here, it's very likely we'll see that extended up into Chase and Lyon counties most likely. So if we go back in time, let's see, right now it's 3:17. Let's go back 30 minutes. Right about here. The storms were not that impressive. If you roll forward up to now, you can see how big that area now is. So it's, the storm is really taking on some size. Yeah, it's moving quickly northeast again toward Chase County, toward Lyon County as well. All right, so the National Weather Service did continue our severe storm watch for several counties going until 6 a.m. The counties in orange, that's the severe storm watch. So Jackson, Wabunsee, Shawnee, Jefferson, Douglas till 6 a.m. The yellow counties are the tornado watch going until 7 a.m., but this activity to the east is new. That's a tornado watch that was issued later in the morning, going until 10 a.m. And in case you missed this earlier in the night, I was sharing this a couple of times around, but there's a new convective day 1 outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, which, great news for us, we don't have a risk of seeing severe weather after maybe sunrise of today. Our neighbors to the east, that bullseye of purple there is the high risk, which we don't see very often. I mean, when I say we, I don't mean northeast Kansas. I mean, we don't tend to see a high risk more than once a year at the most. A really bad year, you might see 3 at the most. I mean, that's extreme. There's some years we don't have any of these. So when I say high risk is rare, I don't just mean for northeast Kansas. I mean for anybody in the United States to get a high risk for any one day of the year is super rare. And I have a lot of family right about there. So I'll be on the phone with them, making sure everybody's taking shelter and whatever tomorrow. But KFVS 12 from Cape Girardeau does a great job. We have a severe storm warning for Shawnee County now. KAIT does a great job, as well as Channel 5 in Memphis. All right, so we're justifying being up so early in the morning and hanging out here, because now we have a severe storm warning that does include Shawnee County. It's interesting because the most of it is now out of Topeka, and we'll see what the severe storm warning says. So quarter-size hail and winds to 50 is what the Weather Service is saying. And most of the city is not in it. So the hail the size of a quarter, radar indicated. Let's check out where the biggest hail might be here. And that's it. So near Tecumseh, almost into Douglas County, and just almost to Lake Perry. So Perry, the Compton, you're in the path of this. And the winds, it's saying 50 miles per hour or less. That's pretty consistent with what I saw come through here at the station and what I saw downtown the camera as well. So 50 mile per hour winds sounds about right, and hail about the size of a quarter is what this is saying, heading toward Lake Perry, toward Lecompton, Kanwaka, and maybe the north side of Lawrence too. So that's our first severe storm warning in northeast Kansas in a couple of hours. And they're dropping that one on the east side of Topeka, over into Jefferson County, and into the northern part of Douglas County. I'm going to bring up this shot downtown. I just keep seeing really bright flashes of lightning. This looks like the lightning's attacking the tower camera downtown. There's the sky cam from the Jayhawk Tower downtown. Maybe the storm intensified on the east side of town. I don't remember the lightning being quite that intense over here, but just almost continuous, really wild strikes of lightning there that we're seeing on the east side of the county now. No doubt that's waking some people up. All right, so if you are in the path of the severe thunderstorm warning, again, it's hail the size of quarters. It's winds that are apparently 50 miles per hour or close to it. It's not high end for a severe storm, but a lot of lightning there, so certainly stay inside, of course, while this moves past. It's not a tornado. I know I've talked a lot about the threat of that, but that's not what this is. It's just wild enough to wake you up. Down to the south, this storm is almost into Chase County now. Now, near El Dorado, it's pretty strong, but the warning's not going until 3:45. And I expect that to be a warning in Chase County pretty shortly here. We'll go back downtown again from this. And I won't often get this excited about lightning being so frequent, but it's just very frequent and very bright over downtown Topeka right now. It really wasn't like this on the east side of town when it came through over here. So this thing is definitely intensified as it got past downtown, and now we're seeing all that lightning that's associated with the storm as it's getting farther to the east. So it looks like it really kind of matured over the city and is now moving east into the Valley Falls area, toward Perry, Lecompton, Lake Perry, Oskaloosa is right kind of the edge of the warning. I'm going to check out the camera from Menninger Hill and see if it looks that wild from it too. It's just almost constant lightning show from that thing. There's how it looks from Menninger Hill. We're getting power surges here now. Please no. Okay, so there's the view from the Capitol Federal Sky Cam over here on Menninger Hill on the west side of Topeka. I'm kind of looking over there now so you can see kind of a different view of that lightning, and it is just almost constant in the eastern sky. That's really wild. But again, I think it's just a sign that that storm became stronger as it went across Topeka. All right, so down to the south, we're still watching the storm getting its act together and heading toward Chase and Lyon counties. This warning goes till 3:45 so far. We will probably see that warning extended farther to the north, most likely. I'm going to see if we have any these advisories with it. No, I don't see it. Yeah, there's advisories down the line in Oklahoma. We don't have these significant weather advisory things up here. All right, so let's go back to this camera again. I promise I won't. I really won't break out the camera just to show lightning like this very often, but that's just almost constant. Yeah, looking to the east across Topeka with this thing, and again, hail the size of a quarter, and winds are gusting less than 60 miles per hour with it. Did my IFB die? Is that what happened here? Yep. Okay, so if they need to talk to me, tell me. So that's this lightning as I'm looking over toward Douglas County in the eastern part of Shawnee County with that severe storm. The winds are probably pretty strong right here, almost to Lake Perry. The warning text says it's 50 miles per hour or less. So I have no reason to doubt that from what we saw with it coming through here on the west side of town. And what I saw on the camera when the storm went through downtown Topeka, it did not look like it was gusting more than 50. So 50, from what I saw, is a pretty fair number. Now let's see if we're getting this extending farther to the north. Let's see, there's a new warning there. No, it's the old warning. They just kind of cross each other. Okay, so we have these warnings till 3:45 that get up into Butler County, but not quite into Chase County and Lyon County yet. But that activity is certainly expanding right along the Kansas Turnpike and moving rapidly northeast. The motion on some of these is in excess of 60 miles per hour. Let's check out the velocities here and see if the storm's behaving. I don't see anything in there that would make me lean forward about a tornado threat, thankfully. How about hail? And nothing bigger than maybe a golf ball at worst case. Here's this hail core with the severe storm warnings coming out of Shawnee County moving into Douglas and Jefferson. Again, it's hail about the size of a quarter. And winds are expected to be less than 50 miles per hour with this. Let's check out the tower camera from Emporia and see if we can see the lightning coming toward town yet from that storm to the southwest. Getting some rain getting in town now. Not particularly heavy, but that's the direction that the strong storm. There we go. Now we see lightning on the horizon. And that storm is pretty strong coming out of Wichita heading toward Emporia. Again, there's the live look from Meninger Hill in Topeka looking to the east toward that severe storm. It has hail the size of quarters moving toward Perry and Lecompton, south side of Lake Perry, possibly the north side of Lawrence, and a whole lot of lightning with that thing. No doubt that's waking up some people. But it is not any hint of a tornado at this point. Now, we do have the tornado watches and severe storm watches that are in place. This is what it looks like. We had the severe storm watch extended until 6 a.m. for Jackson, Jefferson, Shawnee, Douglas, and Wabaunsee counties. We had the tornado watch down here added till 7 a.m. That includes Lyon County, Morris, Coffee, Osage. And over from Kansas City into Missouri, that's a tornado watch that's been issued and goes all the way to 10 a.m. And then for the rest of the day, once we get past the morning rush hour, northeast Kansas will be out of the threat of wild weather. But look at this. This high risk has been issued by the Storm Prediction Center, and that is the risk of severe weather. We don't see a high risk very often. That's really about once a year. I don't mean for a location. I mean once a year for anybody in the nation. You know, so that's not a particularly big area for a high risk. Sometimes we're a little bigger than that, but any high risk to show up on this map is something that, you know, most meteorologists at least are going to raise an eyebrow, because we know that doesn't happen very often. It's a big deal. And I have a lot of family down there, right around Poplar Bluff and Dexter and Sykeston. And I'll be on the phone with them tomorrow making sure everybody's doing the right things and taking shelter, because they don't know what a high risk means. It's just, they're just normal people. That's up to the weather geeks like us to let you know what's going on with that. So if we say high risk and our eyebrows go up, there's a reason. It's not just to, you know, get people to watch or whatever. If we say high risk for severe weather, it's a big deal. It's super rare. It's not here. So tomorrow, if after 8 a.m. you'd like to take a day off from looking at me, I will understand. But you have to come back soon. But to the folks over in Missouri, especially southeast Missouri down to Memphis, over to Paducah, I do hope those people are paying close attention to the weather all day today, because there is that high risk is not a rare thing or something that is put out lightly. It's a big deal. See how high they went with the tornado risk on this thing. Now, do I have that map where I can actually show it to you easily? This might do it. So this is the tornado risk for tomorrow. So I talked about this earlier, well, the last couple of days, about northeast Kansas being in the 10% risk with those red hatch marks. That's a big deal, no doubt. So that was an area that was not huge. Our tornado risk for the this 10% we're talking about was about like that. That was the biggest it really ever got. So look over here to our east now at how big the 10% risk area is. The 10% risk area, the one I just showed you, was maybe 200 miles across. This 10% risk area is 830 miles long. Inside that, you have a 15% risk area for tornadoes that is 580 miles long. And then inside there, you have a 30% risk area that's about as big as our 10% was today. This is a huge, huge sign from the Storm Prediction Center. They expect to see very dangerous storms tomorrow in a very specific area for the worst of it, but the fact that the 10% area is more than 800 miles long is just really, really massive. So we'll see what happens with this during the day today, but that's set up for the risk areas they've got out here is huge with very high numbers and probabilities. So again, I'll be harassing my family on the phone tomorrow to let them all know. All right, so here's a concern. Now we've got an inflow thing trying to show up here in Douglas County. That's something I didn't see a few moments ago. Nope. And now it just kind of shows up. So this is the first sign of anything that looked tornado-y to me in quite a while here. Near Lecompton, near Perry. Just getting kind of a bend there, close to I-70. But that feature right about here, that has to be watched. So if we go back a couple of frames, you won't see something like that. Actually, the bend kind of shows up here. This is kind of the first that it shows up. And if we go forward a couple of frames, you can see it kind of pinch and tighten to a smaller area. And I'm not saying that's a significant risk of tornado. I'm just saying it's the closest thing to a risk I've seen in a few hours. But you know, that's definitely the kind of stuff we watch for. All right, down to the south. This storm coming past Wichita into Butler County. The big area that expanded out of Wichita is over. There we go. That was a warning for it. So now we've got Chase County involved in this until 4 a.m. Hail the size of quarters, winds to 60. Not quite to Lyon County yet, but you're on its doorstep. Or it's on your doorstep. And I'll check out the hail size. So on the hail size, they're saying up to the size of quarters. And they're referring to that blob of orange and red right there. That's almost to Matfield Green, rolling right up the Kansas Turnpike. So from Emporia, you're going to start seeing a lot of lightning with this. So we'll check out the view there from the ValueNet fiber camera looking to the southwest. And the lightning will continue getting closer and closer until the rain is so heavy you can barely see the ground there. And that'll take maybe 45 minutes to arrive. Now let's see if it has any signs of spin or rotation in this thing. Not really. If there is, I don't see it, which is great. All right, now we've got more dinging going on. A rangeland fire danger forecast. What? Moderate category this afternoon. Oh, I know why. Okay, so the fire danger forecast today is a bunch of lows and moderates. That's what they're sending out here. And even though we've had rain tonight, you still can have situations where the fuels, what they call the Kansas grass and the different vegetations, sometimes those different grasses and plants can, there's a category called 1 hour fuels. A 1 hour fuel means if it rains 1 hour later, that stuff could still burn very effectively. So even though we get rain, sometimes it doesn't shut down the fire danger as much as I thought it would. But I was looking at those fire dangers, and they were lows and moderates, which basically means just don't do anything silly. You know, so of course, if you can do a controlled burn today after seeing 6 inches of rain in Riley County, I don't know. I guess that would be difficult. So all right, so Lyon County, we're waiting on the storm to come out of Chase County now. It has the possibility of hail the size of quarters and winds to 60 miles per hour. I don't see any signs of spin with it, thankfully. And you can see this, just the definition of solid line of storms for more than 100 miles from Chase County all the way down into Oklahoma. So seeing things rotate along that is going to be difficult. This storm probably has the highest chance of causing any trouble like that. And then we still have this warning until, what do we have here? 3:45 for Douglas and Jefferson. Shawnee County was removed from that warning. It goes for 5 more minutes. And this activity down here in Chase County is what we have to worry about next. And that's the one that was moving 65 miles per hour earlier and is now almost into Lyon County. All right. There's a new warning for Lyon County now. Right on cue. Now let's see what they have to say about it. All right, so severe storm warning for Lyon County, including the city of Lawrence, goes till 4:15 a.m. It's for quarter-size hail and winds to 60. Let's see where the hail core is now. Now let's also check how fast the movement is. So it's right along the Kansas Turnpike, close to Matfield, and moving to the northeast. So in Emporia, you have a storm with the potential of hail the size of quarters and winds to 60. Opie in the path of this, Neosho Rapids. Excuse me. Even Redding is in the path of this. Redding, I haven't forgotten about you guys. Pretty sure it was May the 21st of 2011. We had the big tornado in Redding. That date. We also had a small tornado in Topeka that same day. And the Joplin tornado was the following day. But for folks around Redding, I have not forgotten you. I remember that storm very, very well. So here comes a severe storm out of Chase County into Lyon County. And I didn't check the forward motion on this, but I need to do that. So let's see what we've got. 60 mile per hour winds. It's moving 60 miles per hour as well. So in Emporia, you have a storm moving at highway speed that is almost there. Excuse me. I've coughed so much my neck hurts now. Love that. So there you go. Some of these spots are showing 60 mile per hour winds, at least close to it. And that is moving into Lyon County. Check out the camera again here. So that's looking to the southwest from Emporia, from the camera there on from ValueNet Fiber, looking southwest towards 60 mile per hour winds that will arrive for the next couple of minutes into Emporia. So kind of the worst part of that is right in here. It's about 15 miles away and 15 minutes away. So in Emporia, about 15 minutes before the worst of the storm moves in. And it's quarter-size hail and winds to 60 is what our computer is indicating and what the Weather Service is saying as well. I'm just kind of looking at some other data from the SPC, and there's a couple of things I'm seeing here. Number one, there's a index called the supercell composite. That's kind of just, it's not maxed out completely, but it's about 90% of as high as you go, right about there. And the other thing was the tornado parameter is maxed out, basically from Oklahoma City down to Wichita Falls, Texas. And all that energy is making its way eastward, and we'll set up this area across southeast Missouri and down to Memphis for this very, very dangerous day. There are going to be big tornadoes later today. Not here, but over to the east. There's sure to be big tornadoes over there for those folks. That's going to be very dangerous. So here's the text on this. I'm going to show you that risk area again, and then I'll come back to our stuff. So here's some of the wording of this. Summary. Again, this is the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, part of the National Weather Service. Summary. A tornado outbreak is expected today and tonight from parts of the mid-Mississippi and lower Ohio valleys westward into the eastern Ozarks. Numerous tornadoes, along with multiple long-track EF3+ tornadoes, appear likely. In addition, tornadoes, severe wind gusts, and large hail possible across a broad area from North Texas northeastward to the southern Great Lakes. Words like long-track, EF3+, that's about as strong as the wording gets. The word outbreak is reserved. They don't drop that word in very often. So today's risk, we had this risk, this 10% risk, and could see a large tornado. That's a possibility. You know, that's nothing compared to what they're saying about this event today. It's off to the east. It's not us. But if you have friends or family down there in the area I was highlighting, let them know to take today seriously. You want them taking shelter, and you want friends and family that are around southeast Missouri to watch the folks from KFVS 12. People around Memphis need to be watching Channel 5, and people around Jonesboro need to be watching KAIT Channel 8. Don't pick your favorite goober off of YouTube. Watch these meteorologists that are trained. The other thing is some of these YouTube folks that are doing this are trying to track 20 tornadoes at once across 5 different states. You can't do that well. I've watched them. I've seen how it's done. It's not done well. You need to watch these local TV stations that know their area. And it's just not possible. It doesn't matter who you are. You can't cover 20 tornado warnings on one stream. You cannot possibly dedicate enough time to any one of those. You're only going to focus on the big one, you know. So you leave a lot of them to just sit. So keep that in mind when you watch these folks, these other folks that are, you know, these up and coming weather enthusiasts that don't have meteorology degrees. They don't. You watch one of these people try to cover 20 tornado warnings. They can't. So we appreciate you watching us here. It's just something I'm kind of keeping an eye on, and with great concern, frankly. All right, so in Emporia, let's see how the camera looks now. Again, the sphere storm is moving 60 miles per hour. And it is now raining in Emporia. I can still see more than a mile, so I wouldn't say the rain is particularly heavy at this point. Let's see where the hail core might be on this. I'll do velocity first since I hit the wrong button there. That's fine. The strongest of the winds look like they're probably closer to Olpe. And the hail core itself there looks like it's going to be still coming across the county line from Chase County into Lyon County. All right. So again, there's no tornado warnings in the area right now. None. The severe storm watch goes until 6 a.m. for Shawnee County, over to Wabaunsee and Jefferson, Douglas. Areas to the south, Osage County, Emporia, to Coffee County, you are in the tornado watch till 7 a.m. You're live? You want to take this thing over for me? Oh. You have a mic? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, I've been seeing that.
You know, it's like the super cell composite's like 30 out of it. The tornado composite's, 12 all the way down to Oklahoma. It's just, but still, if you have the opportunity to bet on or against a morning tornado, you can just bet against it. But you like, that's what it's going 60 miles per hour. I'm also kind of getting to a point where I cough so much my neck is hurting. I'm afraid I'm going to trash myself and not be able to do anything today. So I'll be at least for a little while. I won't leave yet.
All right. Taking over for Jeremy here for just a little while. It seems like we are fortunately at the end of this severe weather event here, wrapping up a little sooner than we initially expected. The forward motion of these storms definitely increased quite a bit here since our last live stream about 2 hours ago. So that is good news relatively, but we are still just watching this one area of concern. Starting to move through Lyon County here and possibly through Osage over the next 30 minutes as it is breaking apart a little bit here. Again, that is sort of the risk sign that we've been talking about for any sort of potential storms that could produce tornadoes. Right now we are in that severe thunderstorm warning for Emporia and about half of Lyon County there, 60-mile-per-hour winds, hail size of about 1 inch. So nothing that is too extreme right now for the moment, but does bear worth watching here as we are seeing that break off a little bit. And there is starting to see a little bit of rotation here close to the center of that storm. So we'll see as that tracks through Lyon, and then likely through Osage, and from that point probably either into Douglas County and Lawrence or somewhere else within the Kansas City metro. But yes, our velocity here is showing nothing that is jumping out here in any specific spots, but still we'll have a decent time frame here, I think, for another 20 to 30 minutes for something to form before this will be out of our area into the Kansas City region. I think it's pretty unlikely that any of these storms right now in Emporia or Lyon County make their way up towards Topeka. They should miss us to the east, at least with how the motion of these storms is starting to shift a little bit here, more so to the east rather than sort of stalling or continuing on that northeastward path that we've been seeing for a while. So that is definitely one good part of this situation here, as we are wrapping things up again a little earlier than we anticipated. Looks like Topeka will probably be done with any thunderstorms for the rest of the night. A little bit of rain lingering behind, sure. I think we could see that, but everything else is not really jumping out here. And these severe storms, this line certainly looks a little more impressive here down towards a little bit east of Wichita. And you can see just how large that severe warning is. That spans about 4.5 counties, good 100 miles or so. So that line probably containing some stronger storms there. And of course, we're now getting some stronger development into Oklahoma, which, oh, there's another new severe warning for Oklahoma. Probably containing the western edges of the OKC metro area. So we'll see how that plays out for them, but that will not be affecting us. That will be moving off towards the east, and that will be the problem that Jeremy has been talking about for later on this afternoon for southeastern Missouri, northeastern Arkansas, western Tennessee, where it does look like we could have an even more intense outbreak than what we're seeing here tonight, which again has fallen a little bit short of the most severe expectations. We have had tornado warnings, about 3 separate ones, well, 2 within the area, and a third one that expired shortly before it reached our region. So we are going to be watching that now for a little while longer just to see what happens, but it's really just going to be this cell here that we're going to watch. As you can see, that shape is sort of breaking off a little bit, and the thunderstorm as a whole has started to spin and rotate a little bit more than anything else here in the line. So I think if we do end up seeing any sort of further warnings, possibly a tornado, it would probably be within that cell right there. And again, that's going to traverse somewhere here through our southernmost counties, Lyon, the rest of Lyon after Emporia, and then through Osage for the next 40 to 50 miles before at that point again towards Lawrence and sort of out of our DMA. Everywhere else looking pretty clear for the moment. A little bit of, nope, I'll get that out of there. Looking like we're not seeing too much though, as things are going to be calming down here for the rest of the evening. Let's look at the live storm tracker again. More of those warnings, and a little bit of light rain we're seeing now behind, starting to come towards Salina. That rain going to be falling over the areas that have seen the most rain so far tonight out of this system, so that is not necessarily good news, but obviously that rainfall will certainly be less intense than what we've seen thus far. So just sort of waiting here for this to push out. I think more likely than not, we're not going to see anything develop out of this. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of time in these latest loops here on the imagery. It seems to show it's sort of falling back in line with the structure of the rest of this system. So hopefully we'll just be able to push through here for another 20 minutes or so, maybe 30 minutes as that continues to move out. And again, what's further to the south is more intense. Probably not going to affect us though, as it's keeping a pretty steady pace moving to the east, a little bit further east than it is north. And given the well-defined line structure of this system, I'm sure even if it did manage to get to our area, tornadoes would be also unlikely. I do assume we would see some fairly large hail out of this system though, just given how it's looking on the imagery for the moment. So that would be something to keep interest in here. Of course, Oklahoma now is going to be receiving the more
Daniel?
intense storms now. Yep.
We can give up now.
Okay.
There's an outflow boundary getting out ahead of that. Shut her down.
All right, well, that is going to be the end of our stream, folks. Yeah, it looks like that last cell here is really the only one we're watching, but at the end of the day, we think the chance of it developing into anything is pretty low. Everything else is either on its way out of the area or very soon to be out of the area, so I think we are about 99% done with this severe outbreak here, possibly see a severe warning extended for this as it goes into Osage County, but even then, it looks to be on the lower end, 60-mile-per-hour winds, 1-inch hail. Very, very short window for that to intensify or produce anything. Frankly, I think we'd all be pretty surprised if we managed to see really anything significant out of that. So we thank you for joining us here tonight. These storms have been intense, but luckily we haven't seen too many major severe events out of this. We'll see by tomorrow about any confirmations of those tornado warnings we saw earlier, but most of the area managed to get by with just some run-of-the-mill springtime severe storms. Of course, being this late at night is definitely unusual, but that is something we'll keep tracking here for a little while longer. Meteorologist Doug Myers will be on in about an hour with the latest updates, and he'll be on there to cover any new information or the slight chance that we do manage to see anything additional develop. So that is it for now, and we thank you for joining us through this very long night.